All right. Well, welcome to the next episode or the next version of the What Else Is New podcast. And I'm Tim Graves. I'm one of the co-founders of the Graves Golf Academy. In fact, I've been doing this now for almost 26 years. I said we had a 25th anniversary. Literally, we're halfway into it now. It's like we just started rolling through this. So as soon as I blink, we'll have our 26th anniversary, 27th anniversary. So anyway, kind of interesting though, a little bit of behind the scenes of what's going on with me since I did my last podcast is I think I've been doing maybe a month and a half, 2 months. People always ask me, do I still play? And yes, I still try to be competitive. I enjoy golf. I enjoy the teaching part, obviously. I mean, it's a business for me. I mean, people think, it's funny how I always get my friends who call me up or my wife's friends who don't know what I do or just find out. And they're like, oh, you're a golf teacher. It's got to be a dream job. And I'm like, well, it's a job. I mean, I travel and I travel and I travel. In fact, I put in last week, I traveled almost 16,000 miles going to different facilities, different sites to teach and private lessons and so on. So it was very busy. But they always say, you got to enjoy it. You got to love what you do. I enjoy golf because I'm still competitive. I enjoy the teaching part, but to me, that's almost not golf anymore. That's teaching somebody how to, work on their swing, work on their setup, work on their game, work on, get better at the game, get better at scoring and so on. And I do enjoy that, trying to get people to reach their goals. But I enjoy golf because I still like to stay competitive. And I play in the events I play are typically South Central section events, that's my section of the PGA. And it covers Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, and a little bit of Texas and so on. And we play some big events a year. And my goal this year was, before the year began, yes, I set goals just like everybody else does in the game. My goal this year was to win a South Central section major. I hadn't won one in a couple of years. I'd won a few, but I'd won in a couple of years. And 2.5, or I guess it's going 3 weeks ago now, I won the South Central Section Hall of Fame Championship. I ended up shooting 5 under at Meadowbrook Country Club up in Tulsa. Played pretty good. I mean, played good enough to win, and with a lot of PGA members, and pretty proud of that. But it's interesting because anytime I go out there and I do something like this, and whether I win, play well, or just play, I'm always wanting to take that back as a lesson. I want to bring lessons back to my students. So what did I do during the tournament? What did I do to manage them around the course? And I know a lot of you, some of you guys are very competitive out there, and you guys playing bigger events than I played. Some of you guys playing, the club championship or playing the men's group or the ladies group, and things like that, or whatever it is. But the one thing I can tell you, and I always say this, and I really say this in my schools, is if you can go out and try to be competitive, play in something. I don't care if it's the men's league on Tuesday night. I don't care if it's a ladies league Thursday morning. I live up at a golf course up north of the Academy here, a couple miles north of us. And I know every Thursday morning and every Sunday morning, believe it or not, I see the leagues out in the golf course. Thursday morning is the ladies league that's out there. And Sunday morning is the couples league that goes out. And they're out there playing 9 holes, 18 holes, playing different formats, but it's competitive. And I'm sure, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, sometimes they play, for the greenies and, the up and down games and different, but they're having fun and they're being a little competitive. And the reason I suggest that about being competitive is because it really amps up your game 2 ways. Number one, when you have something coming up that's going to be competitive, you always want to practice a little bit harder. You'll put in the extra few minutes. You'll put in the little extra time. It's like if you're going to go run a marathon. I mean, the gentleman who runs this podcast ran a marathon for one of the first time. It was a full marathon too. And I can promise you, for the months before that, his training, every day, every few minutes of every day, he was thinking, should I do a little bit more? Should I do a little bit more? Should I watch my diet? Should I watch this? I shouldn't be drinking this. I shouldn't be eating this. And trust me, if he wouldn't have run the marathon, but said, I just wanted to get in good shape, he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have pushed that extra, and he did. And I assume he's still running a little bit, but I guarantee you he's not running marathon. He's probably not running as hard or practicing or drilling as hard as he did the weeks before that. But that's the point. No matter what you do, if you try to be a little competitive or you try to put some heat on it, that's what I call it. You'll put a little extra work into it. You'll do a little extra. You'll push it a little extra, and that's big. The other thing it does is that when you go play competitively, it dramatically highlights your weaknesses. Big time. So when you're out there playing competitively, if you may think, I got a pretty good short game, or I got a pretty good up and down game, or I'm pretty good off the tee. you will see it when you add just a little bit of nerves. I'm not talking about getting amped up like you're playing in the US Open. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking going out and playing with your buddies in a men's league on a Tuesday night. That little bit of extra will highlight your weaknesses, which tells you what you need to work on. And that's big. And that's honestly, and that's why I kind of brought this up. That's why I play competitively. Because number one, I like to practice, but I don't put in the extra practice time. I do if I'm playing competitively. Okay. If I know I have stuff coming up. Number two is every time I go play in competition, do I win every time? Heck no. I mean, I'm lucky to win one every 3 or 4 times, one every 5 times. Okay. I mean, that's typical golf. If even that. But every time I go out there, when I get done, I get to analyze what I need to work on. And when you put that heat on, the little extra nerves really highlights your weaknesses. And that just says, hey, so I got to work on. So it's constantly teaching me what to work on. It's constantly telling me what I need to work on. So I go out there and play an event and I'm hitting, out of 14 fairways, I hit 6, and I all of a sudden realize, man, my driver accuracy is just under a little heat is not very good. I need to go work on what? Driver accuracy, driver consistency, things like that. So part of this podcast, the first part of this, I wanted to really bring that up to you guys, was that I strongly suggest, go play in something, do something, something more than just a 4-man scramble or something going on. Those are a blast. Those are fun, but something that means something. October 15th and 16th, we have our single plane shootout. We have it here. We've had a single plane shootout for the last few years. We've had it in Dallas. We had it in Vegas. This year, we're having it at our home facility in Oklahoma City. And it's going to be 2 days, 4 9-hole scrambles. So it's literally going to be, pair up a group of 4 people, go play a scramble for 9 holes, and then come back, and believe it or not, it's 6 holes in the course. One of the little practice holes we have, a little shootout area. We're going to have a 9-hole score. And then we're going to come in, we'll take a break, eat a little lunch, and go do another 9-hole scramble. Then we'll do the same thing the next day and have clinics and demos in between, and just a blast. It's just a blast. But that kind of thing right there is that competition. It's literally the loosest term of competition. That is a lot more fun than competition. But I can promise you, any human being or human nature coming into that for a week or two before that wants to gear up their game a little bit. So they come in here and they're playing just a little bit better than normal. That's what I'm talking about. Doing something like that will amp up your practice, will amp up the need, will give you guys something you're really working towards. And that's a big deal. So I always suggest if you can do something once a month, once every couple of weeks, really do, especially during golfing season, because it really highlights the need for practice and trying to get that little extra practice in, and really highlights what you need to work on when you're playing those events. And then use that event as a learning experience. Don't use that event as, I have to win or lose. I can't believe I played that bad, or I got lucky and played that good, whatever it is. Use it as a learning experience. Even if you play great, even if you went, I promise you, even if you went into that event and you played the round of your life, it was like you came down and go, that was like somebody I didn't even know I played so good. I promise you, you'll still find a half dozen things to work on when you walk away from there, and then prioritize them. So walk away and say, hey, I didn't drive the ball well. I didn't putt well. My short game was pretty good. I didn't hit my mid irons good. Okay, which one do you need to work on the most? Which is the most important? Prioritize it. And that gives you even time after the event that you want to go and hyper-focus on some more practice. And that's big. So I always get the question, do I play? Yes. Do I play competitively? Yes. Why do I? I just named it because it makes me want to practice. If I'm not playing competitively, I'm just like everybody else. I will practice, but I'm kind of like the lazy man out there. I'll go put a little practice in to say I did it. And I've always got 10 other things I need to do. When I'm playing competitively, I'll put that extra time in. I love doing that. That's what I always do. So anyway, but I've been lucky enough in the last 2 out of the last 3 weeks. I've actually won 2 events, and a lot of you guys know Shannon Friday. Shannon Friday used to work for me. Now he teaches on his own here. He's got a little private instruction thing in a private country club here, and but Shannon's one of my dear friends. He was like a second brother to me, and one of my dearest friends in the world. And we went up and played a tournament up in Enid, Oklahoma, at a really great golf course, and won a little 2-man. It was all day. It was a 36-hole best ball. It was an alternate shot, and it was a scramble followed by an alternate shot. It was like 110-degree heat index. It just was brutal. I think I slept for like 24 hours after that event, but we ended up winning by a shot, and I just had a blast playing with Shannon. So 2 weeks in a row, I got to go out a nice little, got some trophies home, and it was really cool. But anyway, the other thing I want to talk about in this podcast, real quickly, is a little bit about our Single Plane University. And I really want to highlight this and bring this up because I think there's been some misinformation out there. I think there's been maybe just not good information going out there. Maybe whatever. I don't know how you want to say this, but we started it's been about 6 months ago now, maybe a little bit longer. Now we've been thinking about this for like a year and a half, 2 years, but we started a program or a unit or a section at Graves Golf. This is its own category. It's its own division in Graves Golf called the Single Plane University. Okay. And what the single plane university is, what we've set up, it's an instructional based program that is set up like if you're going to a college or going to a university course. And what it is, it covers different topics, okay? And very specific topics that we cover and train and teach and train over between 30 and 45 days for those particular topics. For example, the topics that we've already released, we had a single plane university in putting. We had a single plane university called Single Plane University Range, or how to practice on the range. We had a single plane university on chipping. Those are the 3 that have been out already, okay? And what the single plane university is, it was all deemed around because of the single plane 30 program that was out. And the single plane 30 program was released, I think like a year and a half ago. And basically what the single plane 30 program was, and it was brought about because of you guys. It was brought out because you guys said, I want to be able to go step by step by step. This is what you do first. This is what you do second. This is what you do third. This is what you do fourth in a training type situation. This is all stuff you do at your own place. So you do it and a majority of it you can actually do inside. That's just a little side note here, but this is stuff you can do at your own place, at your home course, at your home facility, in your home. Okay. And what it is when that unit starts. So on day 1, you get a little bit of this. You say, okay, we're going to do this on day 1. And then we do this on day 2. Then we do this on day 3. And every morning, turn on your computer or your iPad or whatever you use. And there's a unit sent to you saying, okay, this is your assignment for today. This is your assignment for today. And most of these assignments take 10 or 15 minutes if you're lucky. I mean, maybe 20 at the most. Now, you can do them again and again and again. You can do it for an hour, 2, 3 hours a day if you wanted, or you can just do it for the 10 minutes a day, okay? And it basically walks you through whatever we're covering. Like this last one I just did was chipping. And for literally, it was a 42-day or 43-day unit. And literally for the first 15 days, we just went over the core fundamentals. This day 1, this is how you grip it. Day 2, this is your backswing, or your position 1. Day 3, this is your backswing. Day 4, this is your stance. We literally went through that. And then we worked into drills. Then we worked into some advanced drills. We worked into how to take it on the golf course. And we worked on different situations like high grass chipping, low grass chipping, tight lie chipping, how to chip on side hill lies, uphill lie, downhill lies. So we worked through the entire unit. So we covered everything you could possibly imagine in chipping, from the core fundamentals all the way up into how to take it onto the golf course. That's what the Single Plane University is. It's a step by step program. I want you to do day 1, day 2, day 3. Then during that time you're in that Single Plane University, or that you're in that unit, as you call it, or that course, you're working with a coach. There's certain times we'll call up and say, hey, send in a video to the coach at this time that we want to see this, and make sure you're on the right path. Send in a video on this. We want to see this. Okay. And make sure you're on the right path. Now, whether you choose to send in the video or not, that's up to you. But these videos are extremely simple. It's take your phone, video it for a few seconds, send it in. It's that easy. And then you have a particular coach you send it to, and that coach looks at it and says, okay, he or she needs to do this, or you need to do this, or you need to do that, or it looks great. And they make sure you're on the right path. Because the last thing we want to do, let's say we're doing one on the driver, which is one we're doing right now. And let's say we talk about the grip, how to hold it, how to set up, the ball position, the stance, how far you are, the width of the stance. Well, all of a sudden we're in day 15 and we're working on driver optimization, launch angles. We're talking about how to hit high, how to hit low, how to even work the ball a little bit, how to hit downwind, into the wind. We're talking about different things to optimize your driver. And you have your width, your stance width is too narrow, or your ball position is bad, or your grip's too strong. Well, guess what? You're going to be lost in the program. I mean, you're not going to be lost, but you're going to be behind the 8 ball in the program. So what we do is every so often we say, hey, send in a video to the coach to make sure you're on the right path, to make sure you're up to where you need to be. And the other thing we do in the Single Plane University is we have Zoom sessions. So every so often we have where everybody that's in the program at that time can meet online. And whether it's me, whether it's Todd, whoever it is, it's at that time, you're talking to a coach. The group is like a group session and you're all in on Zoom. It's really simple. You guys all know how to use Zoom out there. You just go in, dial it up, boom, pop on a Zoom. You're in the chat room, Zoom with everybody. Now it's an open forum. So, so all of a sudden you got John, you got Sammy, you got Susie, you got Ralph, you got Sally. They're all on this thing together. And you're just talking about what you've done for the first week or the first 2 weeks of the unit, this course. It's great. So it's an open forum of what's going on. And then it's an open Q&A. And the coach will be there in that Zoom session live. It's like having a webinar live just over that program. And you have those routinely. The other thing you have is you have a check system. So every day we say, have you completed this? Have you completed this? Have you completed that? So as you see, it's just like being in a classroom or a university sitting at home. And that's the way we set the Single Plane University. And the reason we did that is because of the success we saw and how much you all like the Single Plane 30, which is our basic information on the full swing. Okay. Our basic information. All the Single Plane University is like that on steroids, going very much in depth. We're going to have a single plane university on how to hit hybrids. We're going to have a single plane university on how to hit fairway woods. We're going to have a single plane university on pitching. We're going to have a single plane. We're literally going to have things. I mean, I cannot stress enough. We've already got another 10 units we've already written out that we're going to cover. We're going to have a single plane university just on flexibility for the single plane swing. We're going to have a single plane university on how to gain distance just in the single plane swing. I mean, we're going to do things like that you can walk these programs step by step. Because think about it. If you're getting a DVD or at home, you're on your own. If you all of a sudden watch a plane talk or a 10% show, you watch it for an hour, now you're on your own. Now you can send in videos to the coach and you can work on things with the coach, but it's not going step by step, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And the one we have coming up right now, and I believe it's just in a few days, it's August 11th. So I believe this webinar is going to go just before, but you guys may hear this just after, whatever, is going to be driver optimization. And driver optimization is 100% about how to hit the driver further, how to hit it more consistent, how to hit it more accurate. That's what it's about. Because remember, the 3 most important clubs in your bag for scoring, no doubt about it, are in this order. Number 1, your putter. Almost accounts for 50% of your scoring. Number 2 is your driver. Number 3 is your most lofted wedge in your bag. Everything else just fits around those. Did you hear what I just said? So if you're going to go practice right now and you want to take anything out of this, you go right now and put this practice session down. 25% of your time with the putter, 25% of your time with the driver, 25% of your time with your most lofted wedge. I want you to go chip, pitch, do some bunker work with that most lofted wedge. 25% of the time with everything else in the bag. Your 6-iron, your 7-iron, your hybrids, your fairway woods, all the other clubs in your bag is just 25% of the time. And when you go look at your scoring, you'll see very quickly how 75% of your scoring, if not more, occurs between your most lofted wedge, your putter, and your driver. So if you're not hitting your driver well, if you're not hitting it with some decent distance, if you're not hitting it for distance that matches your age, if you're not hitting it for distance, things like that, you're behind the 8 ball. If you're not hitting fairways, if you're having to hit out a rough to hit greens, you're behind the 8 ball. If all of a sudden one drive you hit 260, next one you hit 180. Well, guess what? You haven't hit that 180 on the 380-yard par 3 or par 4. You got 200 yards left into the green. You're not going to score from there. That's the whole point. Developing consistency, it's optimizing consistency, optimizing distance, okay, and optimizing accuracy. That is the key. And that's what the driver optimization is all about. And that's why we're really, really, really talking about this and really pushing this hard. Now, the plane talk I have coming up, and it's on Thursday night, and the plane talk I have coming up, and I believe it is going to be on the 7th. I think it was actually aired. So if you hear this late, it was aired on August 7th, but there was a portion I put in the front of that plane talk was the very first thing I put on there. And it was the first time these stats have probably ever been shown in the golf industry. And I kind of showed this to the guys in here, and it kind of freaked them out. And I know, I came up with the stats. I showed them. I did some calculations. I did some equations. I'm a biostatistician by trade. That's what my degree is in. That's one of my degrees. That's one of my background. That's what I did for many, many years. So I do a lot of statistical analysis. So I'm a numbers guy. And it was very interesting because the statistics I presented in this plane talk were all about this. When you look at the normal stats in golf, it shows that this was done by 100,000 rounds of golf by the United States Golf Teaching Foundation. They did these 100,000 rounds of average golfers. And they said, if you want to be a scratch golfer, you have to hit 242. If you want to be a 10 handicap, you have to hit 230. If you want to be a 20 handicap, you got to hit a 210. And I think if you had to be a 30 handicap, you had to hit 200 yards. Okay. That's what they said. So these are the numbers you had to match on average to hit those categories. Okay. And that's one of the categories they did. Well, what I did is I took those numbers, I took those stats, and I correlated them out. I said, okay, here's the deal. That was for all golfers, which a lot of those all golfers are 25, 30, 35 years old, even younger golfers. Okay. I said, let's correlate those out. Let's say right now that you are a 60-year-old golfer. You play the tees you should play. So instead of playing 1,600 yard tees, you play 5,800 yard tees. That's the tees you should be at. Okay. Being that age. So you play those tees 5,800 yards. So you have now taken, you now don't play a course near as long as that younger guy. So you're playing the recommended PGA tees for your age. Okay. How far do you now have to hit it to be a scratch player? How far now do you have to hit to be a 10 handicap or 20 handicap? So I correlated those out. It was very shocking because, ladies always ask me, they go, I'll never hit 242. But a lady who wants to be a scratch player, okay, and this is a lady under 50 years of age that wants to be a scratch player. If she's playing ladies tees, she only has to hit the driver 198 yards to be an average distance to be a scratch player. To be a 10 handicap, she has to hit about 180 yards. Okay. Now, if you're a lady that's over 50 years of age, so you're a senior lady, believe it or not, you only have to hit the driver like 180 yards to potentially be a scratch player. I think to be a 10 handicap, it was like 162 or 163. I calculated all this out. I correlated all this out. It was very interesting. So I would strongly suggest, if you want to see all those numbers, there's a lot of numbers in there. If you want to see those, I'm going to reference and tell you to go to the Plane Talk that was shot, the August Plane Talk. In the first 15, 20 minutes, I did some announcements and I talked all about these numbers. And you can actually see, you can look at your age. You can look at the given distances you should be playing. You can see what handicap you are now. So let's say you're a 20 handicap and you want to get to a 10. Well, it tells you exactly the distance you should be hitting for your age if you play the appropriate tees to be able to hit that distance with the driver. The interesting part of that though was, so that all correlated out. So literally, I think I even came down to like, to be a 30 handicap lady, I think it'd be like to break 100. You only had to hit like 160 yards off the tee or something like that. I mean, and that was the same thing as a guy over 70 years of age. But anyway, you can look at that. It's very interesting. There's a lot of numbers on there. It makes a lot of sense. But it's very interesting because if you look at those stats, the thing that stayed consistent was the fairways hit, because it's not going to change. So to be a scratch player, you have to hit. The suggestion is, or the stats show, scratch players hit 65% of the fairways. So if you're hitting 50% of the fairways, and say you're a lady that's above 70 years of age and you're hitting it 170 or off the tee, so you've definitely got your distance to reach. If you're only hitting 40% of the fairways, you're hitting shots out of the rough. Well, shots out of the rough with hybrids or irons or wedges are much different than shots out of the fairway, obviously. You can hold shots in the green out of the fairway. It's very difficult out of the rough. So the whole game changes. So the accuracy always stays the same. So no matter what age you are, your accuracy is always a key. And that's why another reason this driver optimization is so critical. Because think about driver optimization. That's why it's called driver optimization. It's not just how you hit the driver. A lot of you out there can probably hit a driver well over 200 yards. Probably a lot of you can hit 250 to 270, but you don't do it consistently. So you're that person who sits there and goes, yeah, I average 200 yards, but sometimes I can crank it up to 220, 230, but sometimes I'm down to 170, 160. Yeah. Because you hit it off the heel, you hit it off the toe, you sliced it, you hooked it, you almost topped it, whatever it is. Well, all of a sudden you hit that 170 yard drive on a 380 yard par four. We got some problems. We're making bogey if we're lucky. Okay. Especially if we got some hazard on that hole. So the whole point of this is that's what the single plane university driver optimization is. It's to gain consistency, not only consistency, just everybody thinks it's consistency in hitting well. No, it's consistency in distance. It's getting more distance. It's consistency in hitting fairways. It is trusting the driver more. That's what that's all about. Okay. So I'm going to bring that up and I'm going to kind of end it here. I cannot stress enough. And we have a really, really, really good special going on this. Okay. In fact, we have a special that's running on this for the driver optimization program that literally the package you get is worth $2,100 to $2,200. It's like $2,100 for the package. It's the drive. Normally a single plane university by itself for a non-single plane academy member costs $1,000. Okay. For a level 3 single plane academy member, it costs $700. For a level 4 and level 5, you guys obviously get it for free. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is that, guys, we're never going to end single plane university programs. Get in level 3 or level 4 or level 5 of Graves Golf. Get in there because you get these every month, one after another, after another, after another, after another. That's what the Graves Golf is founded around now. It's these single plane university courses. That's number one. Number two, this one we're doing right now, we're throwing it to the wall. We're just going after it in this one. And the reason we're doing this is how important it is. And it's kind of like the introduction. We realize that a lot of people don't know what the single plane university is. So we said, we're going to cut this one down. We're going to cut the price down to get as many people in as we can, literally as many people in without overwhelming my coaches. Okay. So what we did is we gave a package. We put a package together. It's got the single plane university driver optimization course, which is normally $1,000. It's got the driving for distance information, which is like another couple $100. It's got flexibility and fitness information, which is another couple $100. It's got online coaching, which I think is $100 for that month. It's got more in the package. Normally that package is $2,100. Right now, we're giving that package to the public. Anybody who wants to sign up for $297, just under $300. Okay. The whole thing. Normally just the program itself is $1,000, but with everything else is $297. If you're a level 3 member of the Single Plane Academy, you get it for $197. So you save some money. So you get it for $197, this program, 42-day program for $197. If you're a non-member, if you're just in the public, it's $297. If you're a level 4, level 5 member, we got hundreds of level 4 members. We got some level 5 members. It's free. It's covered. The day we start, you're in, obviously it's all covered. But this starts August 11th. Now, if you happen to hear this podcast a little bit later, you can get in. It's like signing up for a college course a couple of days later. It's not a big deal. You get in, you review the first couple of days and you work forward. You don't miss anything. I don't want to miss a week or two at the beginning. If you get in the program and you miss 3 or 4 days because something comes up, or 5 or 6 days, it's fine. You'll get caught up. It's not a big deal. It may just take you a little bit longer to go through the program. It's fine. We pace it on your schedule. It's not a big deal. Okay. But that's the biggest thing. So we're doing this program for the public out there. Anybody for $297. If you're a level 3 member, $197, level 4, level 5, it's your program. It's called Driver Optimization. And guys, this is literally 25% of the game. If you don't know how to work the driver, how to play the driver, everything about the driver on this, you're not going to score well. And you guys all know that. Okay. This is the guaranteed how I'm going to hit it further, how I'm going to hit it more accurate, how I'm going to hit it more consistent. That's what this is all about. Step-by-step process to go through there. Todd runs this program. He's going to go through it. We have the Zoom sessions. We have the coaching that goes with it. It's your choice if you want to do those. It's part of the program. Immediately on day one, if you sign up, you get a driving for distance program that you get that right away. That we get that basically that workshop for you. We get you that flexibility and fitness, all the stuff that goes along in this program. We get part of that. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to throw that out. I wanted you guys to understand. So every month when you hear us release a new single plane university, you'll know what it's all about. Okay. I think the next single plane university coming out is going to be about pitching. We're going to do a whole unit on pitching, how to create spin on the pitch, how to stop pitches, how to hit them high, how to hit them soft, how to hit them different greens, the fundamental of pitching, a very important part of the game. I think the unit after that's going to be about how to hit your hybrids, or in fairway woods, how to be very consistent with those clubs. Guys, we got a ton of them. We've already got the next 10 scheduled out for it's basically the next year. Okay. So you want to be part of this. This is massive. Because what happens is we get these guys that are coming in here and they're doing the single plane 30 again and again and again and again, but they're just getting the basic information. This is like single plane 30 on steroids, covering very specific units. That's what this is all about. So guys, if you have any other questions on this, you can always email me at timg@gravesgolf.com, timg@gravesgolf.com. Or on this, you can email Chris for the single plane university, Chris Henning is Chris H, CHRISH @gravesgolf.com. CHRISH@gravesgolf.com. Or like always, you can call 866-377-2316. Get a hold of us. You want to get in this program. I promise you. Even if you're hearing this a week late, get in the program. We'll get you up to date. We'll get you caught up. Not a big deal. It's not a rush. And remember, I just did a really good article. I put it in my last newsletter. And Ralph Rabago, we call him the professor. Ralph's been on podcasts with me in the past. And Ralph talked about the process of learning. That's what he majors in. That's his specialty. And he talked about how you can't rush it. You cannot rush the process of learning. Rushing the process of learning just leads to confusion. When you slow down the process, when you take it step by step, when you do it like you would in a university course, it's something that sticks. It becomes now a new talent. It becomes now something you can master. It becomes some mastery. And that's what these single plane universities are all about. It's helping you slow down the process so you can master whatever we're going over. And that's what this is all about. So guys, I want to thank you. Again, yell at us if you want to get some more information on this. You're going to be hearing a ton about these single plane university courses. A ton. That's all. But in fact, probably half we'll be talking about now. It's its own section now at Graves Golf. So guys, if you're interested in this, you can always email me at timg@gravesgolf.com or Chris at chrish@gravesgolf.com. Let us know what we can do for you. I appreciate you guys joining me this podcast, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.